Queen Sylvie of the multiple award-winning The Queen Sylvie Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Sylvie or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Hey kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Now remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet.
Oh, with madness!
I don't know why people are so up in arms about the Time magazine cover. I thought it was awesome. I even had this balloon made to commemorate its awesomeness.
Okay, sir, the teleprompter feed is starting in 3, 2, 1.
That was just one of the horrible memes Antifa has produced to poke fun in my new Time magazine cover. Look, I hate the cover. For one, they made my hair disappear. I mean, come on. What were they thinking? But they didn't stop with the hair, no. They also made my famous labia neck the focal point of the picture. I mean, why? Why would they do that? The invisible hair, the full frontal with the labia neck. If I didn't know any better, I think Time magazine has some sort of vendetta against me. And I used to love Time. I really did, back when they were respectable. I used to print up fake Time magazine covers featuring me, put them on my wall, and then never tell anyone they were fake. I fooled a lot of people, too. I really did. A lot of people.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Hey, welcome everybody to another hump day and spending it with me on Tim's Tidbits. I certainly do appreciate it. And I hope so far you've had a pretty decent week, and I hope that this forthcoming weekend you've got some great plans to get out and do a little R&R and stretch your brain and just totally get away from it all. But in the meantime, hey, let's cover some of the craziness that's going on in the United States and around the world. You know, in any regards, last week, the Pentagon put out some new rules for journalists. And the new rules had to do with the dissemination of the information, only that they're given, and that they just can't freely walk about the Pentagon anymore, that anywhere that they do go, they have to have an escort. Apparently that is something brand new. And also they have to sign a pledge. That they're not going to disseminate, look for any information or publish any information that is, not given to them by the Department of Defense. So, interestingly enough, there was a lot of them that said, that just seems to me like you're kind of like suppressing any information that's going out to the citizens of the United States, and you just don't want them knowing what's going on in this new, what do they call it, the Department of War. But check out what happened last week when the Pentagon decided to push out some new rules, and especially as it is applicable to journalists, rather.
It was moving day at the Pentagon today, but it wasn't a happy one for reporters. Reporters, dozens of them, turned in their access badges and moved out of the Pentagon rather than agree to new restrictions on how they work imposed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The Pentagon wanted them to sign off on new rules that would subject them to being thrown out of the building just for reporting on things that the Defense Secretary had not approved previously. Journalists from outlets like the Associated Press and the New York Times refused to let their reporters sign the new agreements. Even some outlets that appeal to conservative viewers like Fox News Channel and Newsmax said they would not agree to the new rules. The journalists say they will continue to report on the U.S. military, but it isn't clear how much their lack of access will hinder them.
So there's another rule that Hegseth laid down, and it applies to journalism. You're going to publish the information that we decide to give to you, and no matter how fractured and or edited it may be, and that's the only information you're going to be putting out. As far as it goes, the Department of War, isn't that what they're calling it now? It's no longer the Department of Defense, it's the Department of War. And I guess that's what Hegseth is declaring on journalists, also on some of his own people. I don't know if you caught up with that part of it, is they're going to start having fitness tests. And you have to be in a certain amount of shape, even if you're behind a desk, a general, not actually out in combat. So I don't know if it's like some type of combat readiness test that you've got to pass, and it's going to be a standard that is applicable to all genders and age groups. So see what happens with the military there and how many people they lose. It's not going to be able to even make the fitness test. But yeah, Hegseth is doing all kinds of interesting stuff in the newly formed Department of War. Anyhow, we are in the midst of a government shutdown. In fact, we are in day 22 of this government shutdown. And over the weekend, I think it was maybe Monday night, that Bernie put out a little segment that I'd like to share with you. And what he's really saying with all this is that, there's a lot of debate back and forth on what should be included, what should not be included. Should the Democrats just go ahead and sign on and let the Republicans probably flip the script on them once they actually do restart the government, and they've X'd out some of the Democratic wishes and or even the people's wishes. But in any regards, let's listen to what Bernie has to say about, really listen to what is the fundamental idea, the fundamental debate in this shutdown.
Every day there's something else, and people are distracted and overwhelmed. But I want you to think back to Trump's inauguration, who was standing with the richest people in the country. And 10 months later, how are those people doing? They have been making zillions and zillions of dollars. They're doing phenomenally well. How you doing? How you doing when you walk into the grocery store? Can you afford decent quality food for your kids? What about your rent? What do you pay? 40, 50% of your income in rent? And now you're dealing with healthcare? Double, triple, quadruple, or maybe you're going to lose your healthcare at all. So in the middle of all of this distraction, this flooding the zone, a new crisis every day, pay attention to the fundamental issue. The billionaire class has never, ever had it so good. They are funding Trump. They are delighted. And you and all of us are struggling. And we are in the shutdown because we refuse to allow the American healthcare system to collapse. We refuse to allow 15 million Americans to be thrown off the health care they have, and another 30 million people to see their rates double. In Burlington, Vermont, for a family of four, their premiums are going to quadruple, going from about $900 a month to somewhere around $3,600 a month.
I was just thinking about this email that I got yesterday from a Minnesotan, and she said, I logged on to my account today and found that my monthly premium is increasing from $1,000 a month, which is a lot, to $3,163 a month. And she says, this is catastrophic.
This affects folks who voted for him. I mean, these premiums don't go to Republicans and Democrats, they go to families. Everyone is going to get hammered on this.
We're not like Trump, right? We don't try to punish people who voted against us. We want to make sure everyone has access to affordable health care. And Peter, when you said that, I've got this list here of the states that are going to see the biggest increases in their premiums. The first 12, 14, 15 of the states that will see the biggest premium jumps are red states.
I keep watching right now as people are seeing tripling health insurance costs, but the Republicans, Donald Trump, has managed to say we're gonna still set aside $20 billion to send to Argentina. And we learned yesterday that 20 may not get the job done, so they're going to $40 billion. It's not like it's $40 billion to go in and feed poor children in Argentina. This is $40 billion to bail out hedge funds that have invested in Argentine debt.
So they're high-fiving in Buenos Aires today. They're very happy on Main Street in Buenos Aires. Thank God Donald Trump has arrived to bail us out. We were about to have a crisis here in that country. Meanwhile, in Burlington, Vermont, they're getting notices that their health care costs are going to skyrocket.
What we're seeing is a president acting like a king, ignoring the laws that apply to the executive branch, like stealing the power of the purse.
We got to stand up. We got to fight back. Too many Americans fought and died to defend American democracy. We're not going to let Trump and his oligarchic friends take it away from us.
Amen, Bernie. So yeah, think about it. You know, it's these costs are going through the roof. Man, I was looking at some of the local news tonight, and even how the housing costs have just skyrocketed. So your grocery costs, your housing costs, your health care costs, and how are you going to survive? Wow. As he said, he provides all kinds of relief for hedge fund investments, which is speculation. And these people that he knows, it's, pouring in all kinds of money, and hopefully they're thinking they may be able to get some type of return on their investment in these foreign countries. And they don't, and now Donald's coming in to bail them out with our money. All righty then. Anyhow, another thing that happened over the weekend, apparently, all over the United States, was the No King march, and that was everywhere. They said it was coast to coast, sea to sea, all over the place, as a demonstration, a peaceful demonstration, mind you, against the way that President Trump is creating a dictatorship rather than a democracy. And he was not too happy with the marches against him, the unity against him, especially when he sees that his poll numbers are falling all over the place, quite drastically all over the place, probably the lowest they've ever been. But in any regards, what did he do in response to the people's demonstration? They're vocalizing that they're not happy with how he is handling the state of the union right now, or the state of the world right now. And let's see how Donald responded with a little AI video, and how the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, defended him on maybe a bit of over the top of this video, maybe. Check it out and let's see what you think.
That the President of the United States over the weekend released a video of him pooping on the American people.
The President uses social media to make the point. You can argue he's probably the most effective person who's ever used social media for that. He is using satire to make a point. He is not calling for the murder of his political opponents, and that's what these people are doing. I mean, they're in one of these photos. I think there's a picture of the president hanging in effigy by a noose.
No, he's just defecating all over people who are demonstrating against him.
It's unconscionable.
It is.
Look, America is built on the idea of free speech. You have the right to protest. Of course, we jealously guard that. I mean,
And then the president has the right to post a
course.
video where he's shitting all over us.
But what they're doing right now is different. They are trying to incite violence. It's not funny. You don't mock a president who has already had 2 failed assassination attempts on his life. This is not a game. And the idea that communists would be supporting this is unconscionable to us.
I don't think communists posted the video of him defecating all over the people who were at the No Kings rallies. So, whatever. I mean, how do you defend that? I do not know. But apparently Mike Johnson has the ability to do so. And we'll just, shift it into another direction, as they always do. Anyhow, what else could be happening in Washington, D.C. that would just maybe blow your mind? How about we had a person who embezzled from donators. We had a person who, I believe it was gross identity theft because it was done multiple times. And who am I talking about? Oh, Senator George Santos, who was put into prison for, the crimes against the country and against the people. But guess what happened? Well, I guess, for some reason, Don thought it would be a good idea, or a POTUS, or whatever you want to call him, thought it would be a good idea. So let's just pardon George and just forgive him of all those crimes and don't worry about the money that he ripped off from his donators. In his election funds, and I think he spent it on, designer suits, other kinds of crap like that. And don't mind that, he has assumed multiple identities, lied about where he went to his university, his entire education, that his mother was apparently killed in 911 during the when the plane hit the towers, and all that turned out to be total BS. But in any regards, some reason, President Trump likes him, and pardon the guy and check it out. No, I'm not kidding you.
It was around 11 o'clock Friday night, according to his attorney, that former U.S. Congressman George Santos walked out of this New Jersey federal prison a free man.
I'm going to fight my battle.
His more than 7-year sentence commuted by President Trump. Santos was convicted of wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Following those convictions, Santos saying this.
I know that my actions have caused disappointment, frustration, and a loss of faith in me, and for that I'm truly sorry.
But back in July, one day before he started serving his sentence, he posted to social media, "I may be leaving the stage for now, but trust me, legends never truly exit." Thanks to President Trump, Santos hasn't just been freed from prison. According to an image of the document posted online, the commutation also orders no further fines, restitution, probation, supervised release, or other conditions. As part of his punishment, Santos had been ordered to pay more than $370,000 in restitution to his victims. Navy veteran Richard Osthoff says Santos refused to hand money over to him raised online for his dog's surgery. Allegations Santos has denied and that were not part of his federal convictions.
What went through your mind when you heard that Santos was free?
I feel like I got stabbed in the gut by the President of the United States.
Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who served with Santos in the House, celebrating the release, which she lobbied President Trump for. Greene posting, "I believe in second chances because we are all sinners. There are no exceptions." Tonight, his attorney saying Santos is with his family, decompressing and getting reacquainted. Stephen Romo, NBC News, New York.
Tell me that ain't some bullshit. How many people you know are doing some serious frickin' time for a lot less than that? And this guy gets all scot-free. And he's probably gonna get into politics again somehow, some way. I'm sure he'll weasel his way into that. And anyhow, hey, maybe even the White House. Speaking of the White House, since you brought it up, the East Wing is getting renovated. And you say renovated how? Maybe renovated illegally, because I'm not so sure that the permits went through properly. But in any regards, for the ballroom, the grand ballroom that Trump has planned for the White House, and is going to be in the location of the East Wing. And in fact, it looks like it's becoming part of the East Wing. I'm not so sure, but check it on out and see what happens. In D.C., when we're in a government shutdown, we have all kinds of cuts to budgets when it comes to a lot of the various provision programs that are out there for people that are needy. But we're going to dump all kinds of time, energy, and money into a grand ballroom for the East Wing.
Good morning, Wisdom. Yes, it is going to replace where the First Lady and her team traditionally kept their offices in the East Wing. Now, President Trump said he and other private donors are going to cover that $250 million price tag, which some people have criticized as out of touch with what the average American would want. Now, we have some new video in of that demolition that we saw happening yesterday here on the White House grounds. The Associated Press reports that even though the president deployed the wrecking ball to the East Wing, the ballroom has not received a green light from the National Capital Planning Commission yet. At a recent dinner, President Trump said he was told there were 0 zoning conditions. Now, this entire structure would be 90,000 square feet and more than double the footprint of the existing building. The renderings here show a massive open ballroom with gold and crystal chandeliers, gilded Corinthian columns, a coffered ceiling with gold inlays, and checkered marbled floors. 3 walls of arched windows look out over the White House's south grounds. Now, the space will be able to seat 650 people. Now, President Trump's administration asserts that construction will not interfere with the main building and that it will maintain the historical character of the White House.
You're going to see a ballroom the likes of which I don't think it'll be topped. It'll be the finest. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
The top is going to nothing ever like it. They're going to have all kinds of things here on one floor, on the other floor. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. The best there's ever been in the entire world. Wow, we are. And $250 million. That is a lot of cha-ching to put into a ballroom. Apparently, he's like volunteering. He's going to do it himself and or some of his donors. Right. I mean, hasn't he already lost enough money? Yeah, I mean, in New York for, his business fraud and others. But wait a minute. What is one good way to, maybe bounce back from all that? He's been found guilty on 2-3 times that he's guilty of the felony charges when it comes to, taxes and evasions and things to do with his business. But in any regards, how about one way to recover some of that money maybe? Let's say you could sue the Department of Justice to recover some of the funds that, it's cost you because of the way you operate.
Be asked about a piece of New York Times reporting that is out in just the last couple of hours. A piece of reporting we should note very clearly here that NBC News has not confirmed, suggesting that the president wants the DOJ, the Justice Department, to pay him something like $230 million in compensation for the federal investigations against him, with the New York Times citing multiple people familiar with the matter. We should note here that a White House spokesperson referred questions to the DOJ. The Department of Justice has no comment on the status of the claims. I want to...
No, it's going to be the Justice Department. Are you asking them to pay you compensation for the federal investigations that happened to you? And how much are you asking
well,
for?
I guess they probably owe me a lot of money for that. Probably, yeah, that's true. That's very interesting. No, I get no salary. I gave up my salary. It's a good salary. Not as much as these guys make, but that's okay. It's a lot of money. And I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I'm not taking it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House while we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction. It's going to be, they've been trying to get it for 150 years. And it's really, I think it's going to be fantastic. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we have numerous cases having to do with the fraud of the election, the 2020 election, and because of everything that we found out, I guess they owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for really, I think it's got to be handled in a proper way. If it's not handled in a proper way, we don't want it to happen again.
Okay, do the math, folks. I was just catching up on that. So we were talking about the price to construct a ballroom, right? $250 million. Now Trump wants to sue the Department of Justice for $230 million, which he would be able to roll over, and he mentioned it again even in that statement. Well, we could do something nice here around the White House, so I'll sue the DOJ for the money that I spent, recuperate my money, put it into this White House reconstruction for a ballroom that nobody really wants, put my name on it, and come out looking and smelling like a rose. This guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Speaking of unbelievable, folks, again, and this happened last week, there is a group of that is called the Young Republicans. And the Young Republicans is comprised of people who aspire, obviously, to get into government. So they're comprised of, 18 to 30-year-olds, college educated, at least, they're out of high school and above, and trying to aspire to, somehow serve within the government from this capacity of being a Republican. But the Young Republicans had a little leak on one of their chats that may not have painted them as, such a nice group of individuals who are trained to someday lead our government. Check this on out and look what happened, and look what leaked, rather.
The governor and the vice president both responding to an exclusive Politico story. It details messages between several members of state Young Republican groups, including New York State Young Republicans, that are racist and anti-Semitic in nature. And among those allegedly involved is Bobby Walker, who we're told is a Schenectady County resident. Nearly 3,000 pages of chats between January and mid-August reveal what Politico calls a culture where racist, anti-Semitic, and violent rhetoric circulate freely. Those involved joked about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. Multiple people in the chat are connected to New York Republicans. Pictured here in social media posts from the New York State Young Republicans, Bobby Walker. He previously worked for the state Senate Minority Leader Rob Ortt and was also slated to be the campaign manager for State Senator Peter Oberacher's congressional campaign. Politico says Walker called rape, quote, epic in the chat. A spokesperson for Senator Oberacher telling Politico that Walker is no longer being brought on the campaign in light of the recent comments. And in the aftermath of the story, multiple state leaders as well as Republican figures have condemned the messages. Schenectady County Republican Chairwoman Liz Joy specifically mentioning Bobby Walker and his residency in Schenectady County. She said, quote, his statements in the published chat were indefensible and do not in any way represent the values or standards that I demand from the members of our committee. I want to be crystal clear. Anyone who degrades or bullies others in a similar way to Mr. Walker will find themselves off our committee and out of any leadership position. We have a zero tolerance policy for that behavior. Governor Hochul was asked about the reporting from Politico, and here's a portion of her reaction.
That everybody from the president on down should condemn them. And there's got to be consequences. Kick them out of the party. Take away their official roles. Stop using them as campaign advisors. There needs to be consequences.
Vice President J.D. Vance is downplaying the leak of a racist and hate-filled group chat among young Republicans exposed by Politico as, quote, pearl clutching. In it, the members referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They also talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed support slavery. MSNBC has not independently confirmed the Politico reporting, but here's how the vice president reacted to it.
Focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys They tell edgy, offensive jokes like that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. And at some point, we're all going to have to say enough of this BS.
All over that.
It's critical context, exactly. Not only has the vice president advocated for a crackdown on people who dare sully the memory of Charlie Kirk, but the administration has broadly taken the position that words are equal to violence, right? You see DHS, you see people saying that, oh, if you dox ICE people, if you identify members of ICE, that is akin to violence and violent behavior. So on the one hand, they are arguing that words have the power to do these destructive, horrible things when they are the targets of it. But on the other hand, when it is simply, outrageously racist commentary about black people or saying that you love Hitler, that's just kids being kids. I will say, I actually looked at the numbers.
40-year-old kids being kids,
right.
Potentially.
But I looked at the numbers today, and actually, within the Republican Party, people aged 40 and under are pretty young within the Republican Party. Only a fifth of Republicans are that young compared to a third of Democrats. So within that context, it's actually there.
Right. And did you hear how he referred to the leaker, some scumbag leaker's got to put that stuff out, that you were calling black people names, you were calling them to be lynched, and, and other racist remarks within there to Latinos and Jews, who knows what else. And the person that leaked it is the scumbag, according to J.D. Vance, our vice president and possibly future president, who knows. I don't know, folks. This is the world that we live in today. As sometimes we find out unexpectedly, we may be blindsided by what we think is we're being treated fairly, and all of a sudden we find out that, people are stepping on our neck any chance they get. And this so happens to be in the case of what's happening to one couple that was trying to sell their home in Charlotte, North Carolina. They ran into a little bit of a roadblock when it came to trying to get the true value of their home, what should be actually the appraised value, according to what was selling in their neighborhood. But there was somebody stepping on their neck, and check out that video and you'll see why.
It's not uncommon for a 4-bedroom home like this one to sell for over $1 million here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So when Jordan and Alicia Collins recently had their home appraised, they were shocked when it was valued at just $600,000.
We bought it for more than that, so we knew it was low.
It wasn't until we made it look a certain way that we got the correct value.
The Collins home had been authentically decorated and covered in family photos at the time of their first appraisal. But when those photos were taken down and replaced with photos of the Ku Klux Klan, they got a very different valuation.
$950,000.
Wow. Suspecting that their undervaluation was based on racial discrimination, the Collins Klan-washed their home, making it look like a powerful Grand Wizard lived there instead.
We took down all of our family photos.
We took down all of our art, anything that made it look like we lived there.
They even enlisted the help of a neighbor who offered to pretend to be the homeowner during the appraisal. Immediately, the value skyrocketed, and the Collins family isn't alone. Nationwide, the average home price of a Klansman is nearly 34% higher compared to black homeowners, and in some extreme cases, smaller homes with cross burnings in the front yard have gone for as much as $800,000 more.
It's sad, but sometimes these are just the steps you have to take.
For the Onion News Network, I'm Shannon Eastman.
What's happening down in Charlotte, folks? I have no idea. That's absolutely crazy. And then sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what is happening over in Paris? That's right, across the pond. Guess what happened? Thieves broke into the Louvre, and I'm sure you've heard this by now. Yes, thieves broke into the Louvre. No, they didn't steal the Mona Lisa. Boy, what they did steal is some jewelry that apparently was part of the Napoleon collection. And we'll see what happens with these jewels, because to date, they have not been able to catch up with the people, and they had a very ingenious way that they pulled off for this entire robbery. Let's check it out real quick, folks. But the Louvre has been robbed, and you thought maybe you'd only see it in the movies, right? I guess not, because it happened in real life.
Good morning, Willie. Well, we've seen this play out in movies before, but this is the real deal. According to France's culture minister, the robbery occurred this morning as the museum was opening at around 9:30. And here's what French media is reporting, that 3 masked men carrying small chainsaws broke into the Louvre. The interior minister saying the thieves broke in using a ladder mounted on the back of a truck and broke in through a window, which led them to the Apollo Gallery. This is where the remains of France's crown jewels are kept. The theft, he said, lasted 7 minutes. French media also reporting they made off with 9 pieces of jewelry once belonging to Napoleon and Josephine Bonaparte. The men, they say, escaped on a moped. A statement from the Louvre says it will remain closed for the day due to exceptional reasons. There are no injuries being reported, that we know. The Louvre is the world's largest art museum and the most visited. It's home to iconic pieces like Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. An investigation is now underway, but listen, Willie, priceless items stolen in broad daylight. We'll be following this one very closely.
Wow. So, yeah, from what I've heard, they are worth a fortune as one piece, but it's going to be kind of hard to work with the jewelry because they'd have to break it on down. They can't sell it out as one piece. It'd be hard for a collector to do. Well, even in the black market, it'd be hard to get the true value out of that. And then they'd have to break down individual stones, and each stone is kind of unique. And there's the way they can look at certain flaws, the way they reflect light, the way they're cut. They can tell that these are, super, super precious jewels. And I would imagine that there's a lot of people that, I don't want to touch this one. They might be a little bit too hot. In any regards, let's come back to the good old US of A. And if you have a young child, maybe even a teenager, that likes to sit on their phone and play Roblox. And Roblox is now getting sued by some parents in several states, actually, regarding providing a path for actually predators to stalk young children. Check it on out.
This morning, Florida's Attorney General is issuing criminal subpoenas against Roblox, the popular online gaming company, citing alleged abuse of children by online predators.
Companies like Roblox have become breeding grounds for predators to get to and have access to our kids.
The Attorney General claims the platform does not properly verify the age of users and fails to moderate explicit content, claiming his office has arrested more than 1,000 child predators this year, and many of those investigations, he says, have led back to Roblox.
These criminal subpoenas will enable us to gather more information for our prosecutors about the criminal activity taking place on Roblox platform.
Roblox says it's added extra protections for young users with more rules around messaging, saying it prohibits sharing images and videos in chat, uses filters to block the exchange of personal information, and is implementing age estimation for users.
We take every case of harm extremely seriously. Any platform of our size, it draws bad actors, and our job is to do the best that we possibly can to prevent anything from happening on our platform.
The company is facing mounting scrutiny, including from the family of 15-year-old Ethan Dallas. They filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Roblox, claiming it failed to protect their son from a sexual predator, leading to his suicide. Roblox saying it's deeply saddened by his death, but says it cannot comment on the ongoing litigation.
So, apparently, yeah, this must be in this somehow in the chat platform, and I understand there's some type of money that you can actually upgrade your game or, your character, whatever the case may be, and then these people are, duping these young children into the little chat rooms, and there it starts. But then, again, parents, pay attention to what the hell your child is doing, and if they're on that phone or that tablet so long, get nosy once in a while. It just might be worth it. In any regards, hey, let's wrap up part of this show, and it's time for that moment of what the fuck, dude, seriously. And I have 2 of those for you tonight, and one of these happens to have happened on a airplane. That's right, and Air China, or China Air, however you want to say that, and a lithium battery that caught on fire in a laptop up on storage. Check it out.
Tonight, chaos on an Air China flight after a fire sparked by a lithium battery broke out mid-air, according to the airline. You can see the flames coming out of this carry-on bag in an overhead compartment, smoke filling the cabin, and then flight attendants quickly responding. The flight from Hangzhou, China to Seoul Saturday was diverted to Shanghai. Air China saying in a statement the battery spontaneously combusted, adding that no one was injured. This just the latest terrifying battery fire on airplanes. In January, a portable power bank was believed to have started the fire that engulfed this Air Busan plane and injured 7 people. And look at this video from 2023. Flight crew poured water on a carry-on backpack after a battery caught fire while boarding. Experts say lithium-ion batteries can overheat and go into what's called thermal runaway. It's why the FAA doesn't allow them in checked luggage, and why Southwest recently became the first U.S. airline to require passengers keep power banks and portable charging devices in plain sight while in use during a flight.
Do you think we're going to be seeing more restrictions on lithium-ion batteries moving forward?
I hope so. We're seeing some of the overseas carriers say you cannot use these charging banks on the airplane. I think that may very well find its way into the U.S.
And experts say that cheaply made devices, like often ones that are handed out for free, or devices that have been dropped or damaged, are most at risk of igniting. Jose?
That would freak your ass out. Now you know you're up 30,000 feet in the air and you got a fire up in the bin over your head. Yeah, that would be insane. Anyhow, speaking of another insane dude, what the fuck moment, what would you think about a individual who continuously disguises themselves, wears all these different disguises just so that they can provide a CDL permit for their friend? That's what happened in this particular what the fuck moment, and check it on out.
Prosecutors say a whistleblower who works here noticed something wasn't right, and that led to a widespread investigation. Look at each person facing the camera in each of these images. They are all the same person, according to prosecutors, who say the woman who posed as all of these different men and women did it for dangerous reasons.
Driving a massive truck through our streets where our children are playing, it is disturbing.
The Nassau District Attorney calls it a corruption ring at the DMV in Garden City. That's where, she says, 35-year-old Jamie Middleton took commercial driver's license, or CDL, written exams for 7 different people. Investigators say that each time she'd use disguises, sunglasses, and surgical masks to look like a different person taking the exam.
For the right price, they'd allow anyone to get a CDL permit.
The DA said 3 workers at the DMV were in on it with Middleton, the test taker, including Middleton's sister, Kanesha, a supervisor at the DMV. This shows what happened, according to investigators. Workers would have on their computers a photo of the person who was supposed to take the test, but they'd let Middleton, who's clearly not the person on the computer screen, take it instead. She'd split a $1,500 to $3,000 payment for each bogus test with accomplices in the DMV, the DA said. One person Middleton allegedly took the written test for drove a truck based out of this sanitation facility in Hempstead. James Nurse, according to investigators, is the only person whose exam Middleton took who actually got a full license. Why?
Because every driver must take a road test.
And that? At least 2 would-be drivers, Omesh Mohan and Renee Sarwi, failed, say prosecutors. Everybody allegedly involved faces up to 7 years in prison if found guilty, and this investigation continues.
Dude, what the fuck? I told you. Unbelievable. Anyhow, hey, let's wrap this show up by seeing if we can have a asshole merit badge awardee. And yes, we certainly do. And this awardee is singular this week. And it has to go, actually, with a group of individuals who thought it'd be a real funny idea to prank people's homes dressed up in Halloween costumes. And I think they took this a little over the edge to the point to where the Popo are looking for you boys. Check it out.
Chilling video captured on a Ring doorbell camera.
Open the door!
3 people wearing Halloween masks terrorizing a family in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., late Tuesday night.
Worst nightmare.
The 3 apparently laughing at first, but their actions quickly becoming more sinister. From pulling on the front door,
Open the door! Open the door!
to making the motion of cutting their throat before threatening to break into the house.
I'm gonna count to 10. If this door doesn't open, we're gonna come in. 1, 2.
I said Happy Halloween when they first came, asked them to get off the property. When they didn't, that's when I realized it wasn't a joke anymore.
Our ABC affiliate WJLA speaking with Shayla, one of those family members inside. She says the 3 never got into the house.
They tore the whole thing down.
She says they made their way to the backyard, destroying her fence and the screen to the back door.
They came through there, and that's how they entered to get to our door to be able to knock on the back door.
They're lucky they didn't get shot. There's a lot of individuals and probably would have shot with those guys for that BS. And you know, yeah, rightfully so. How do you know? Especially when they start, destroying your property and they're, breaking in through the screen. Now they're onto your property. As far as I'm concerned, stand your ground. Sorry about your luck, boys. Anyhow, hey, that wraps it up. I hope that, I gave you a little bit of smile this week and maybe enlightened you on some of the stuff you may have not known, may have known. And either way, I'm glad to be able to share it with you. And again, at the top of the show, I said, I hope you have a great weekend. And I truly do, because I'm ready to get out and start ready to prepare for this weekend, because it's getting a little bit chilly. So I guess maybe part of preparing for this weekend may be doing some stuff around the house so that I can winterize. You know how that goes, folks. 'Tis that time of year. So till next week, we are out of here. Again, thanks for stopping by and enjoying Tim's Tidbits on your hump day, and have the rest of the week a great one. Bye-bye now.
And we show another building. It's an arc. It's the arc. So that circle, that's Arlington Memorial Bridge, as you know, it's sort of the most important one, a very important structure. And at the end of it, you have a circle that was built 150 years ago. Nobody knows really when. And in fact, they put a couple of columns on each side. So you have 2 columns on one side, 2 columns on the other. But yet, in the middle, just a circle. And everyone that passed us had said, something was supposed to be built there. That's true. But a thing called the Civil War interfered. And so we have versions of it, sizes of it, and it's going to be really beautiful. I think it's going to be fantastic. There's a rendering of what it will look like. You have 3 sizes. That would be the largest one. This is just a model of what it would look like in either of the 3, any of the 3 sizes, which is right here. I don't know if you can see it. So that's Lady Liberty. Did you ever hear of Lady Liberty?
Building an ark in the nation's square, a monument to golden hair, marble pillars high and stout, with his name carved in, no room for doubt. The pigeons laugh, the tourists stare, a hollow echo fills the air. The Ark of Trump, oh what a sight. It blocks the sun, it steals the night. A shroud eagle, tall and wide. No room for truth, just pride inside. A thousand flags wave in the breeze, each one whispers, plated steps, a velvet rope, a staircase climbing up to home, but at the top it's just a mirror, reflecting dreams that disappear. The Ark of Trone, oh what a sight. It blocks the sun, it steals the night. A shrine eagle, tall and wide. No room for truth, just pride inside. Tore down trees to make it stand, concrete poured by trembling hands. No birds sing here, no flowers grow, just shadows cast by the golden glow. And when the rain begins to fall, the gilded letters start to crawl, the cracks appear, the truth comes through. An ark built high but built untrue, and folks will say with a knowing grin, history's ark won't let him in.
We say, oh, up the right. Say, oh, up the right. We say, oh, up the right. Say, oh, up the right. Dip your tyrants in a river of ink. Smash that statue, make the people think. No paper palaces and puppet strings. No thrones, no crowns, no way, no kings.
They wave that scepter made of cable news. Here's the thing, kiss the ring or pay your dues. But we don't bow to a counterfeit twit.
We hit,
we punt,
we sing,
we spit.
They gilded up the palace with a Walmart throne. Sold our freedom wholesale to a fat megaphone. Release the fire. Now bury the receipts in your gold ballroom with your dumbass tweets. Trump wants a medal for the lies he sings. Nobel called back, they don't crown clown kings. Ice at the border like busted springs. Hidden badge, cold hard, unlawful stings. If truth is treason, ink our treason on the wall. If courage is a crime, come back and book us all. From docks to deserts, from the slums to the hill, we built these streets and we pay the fucking bill. No kings, no thrones, no way, no crown. Get the hell out, you MAGA clowns. We won't stop until freedom rings. No clowns, no thrones, no way, no kings, no crowns, no thrones, no way, no kings, no clowns, no thrones, no way, no kings. We say, oh, up the right. Say, oh, up the right. We say, oh, up the right. Say, oh, up the right.
Pedophiles locked up like a dragon's horde. Corchesters juggle with a plastic sword.
7 wars ending.
Yeah, in your dreams, still hear real mother screaming, real scream.
No looks like a twat in a cosplay cape yelling off with the heads at the fairground gate.
Trump's goons are anything but squeaky clean. Holman's lunch bag is looking mighty green.
They sell us fear on a payment plan, then they tell us stop when we know we can. We aren't just pawns for would-be kings. You'll feel our power when you hear us sing. No kings, no thrones, no way, no crown. Get the hell out, you MAGA clowns. We won't stop until freedom rings. No crowns, no thrones, no way, no king, no crowns, no thrones, no way, no king, no thrones, no way. No kings, no crowns, no thrones, no way. No kings. We say, oh, up the rock. Say, oh, up the rock. We say, oh, up the rock. Say, oh, up the rock.
His time may be up, there's a fade on the magazine. His minions cry rebellion, we clap back with Epstein.
A judge picked by Teflon Don has ruled against his demands.
Will we find in some small way the rule of law still stands?
Fuck ICE, fuck Trump, evict that chump.
See this?
Our fists built to resist. We've got two eyes. We see all lies. Truth won't die. It multiplies. No kings, no thrones, no way. No crowns. Get the fuck out, you MAGA clowns. We won't stop until freedom rings.
No crowns, no thrones, no way.
No kings, no kings, no thrones, no way. No crowns. Get the fuck out, you MAGA clowns. We won't stop until freedom rings. No crowns, no thrones, no way. No king, no crowns, no thrones, no way. No kings, no crowns, no thrones, no way. No king, no crown. Up the rock. Say, oh, up the rock. We say, oh, up the rock. Say,